Hey everybody, I'm Kate Conroy,
And I'm Martin of SobelCo.
and this is Other People's Business, which is the podcast from the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, the largest statewide business association in the country, representing about 1 million employees, which is about 1/4 of New Jersey's workforce. We release a new episode every other Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. Shout out to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. They do home, auto, and workers' comp, so check them out if you need some updated coverage because they are the official sponsor of the show.
Amazing. Just a housekeeping matter or two before we get this thing rolling. This podcast is available just about anywhere you can get a podcast. That's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon's TuneIn. We even put these things up on YouTube if you'd rather watch than listen. But no matter how you watch the show, give it some love. Give it that like. Give it that comment. Give it that 5-star review. Helps the algorithm help more people just like you. All that out of the way, our awesome guest today from our friends at SobelCo is Chris Martin. Chris, say hi, let the audience hear your voice.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Our pleasure. Okay, so today's icebreaker is, what are you currently binging? It can be food, it can be movies, it can be TV, it can be books. Who wants to go first?
I want Kate to go first.
Yeah, okay. Well, I am binging something a little unconventional. It's an older show called Lilyhammer. I don't actually know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It was the show that Steven Van Zandt did right after The Sopranos. It's about a mobster from New York who turns state's evidence and goes into witness protection, and they put him, at his request, in Norway, in the town of Lilyhammer in Norway, because he thought that the Olympics were so beautiful when they were held there. And he very quickly realizes that living in Norway is not at all like watching the Olympics on TV, which I'm sure you could have guessed, but he did not guess, and it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do they call it Lilyhammer if they never say it on the show?
I think I'm not pronouncing it correctly. They say it Lillehammer or something. I can't.
Okay.
They don't even spell it the same way that it's spelled in the title of the show, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where do you watch it?
It's on Netflix. It's been on Netflix for
Okay.
years. It's been on my radar for years, thinking this would be fun to watch at some point. It really is like watching Silvio Dante kind of try to navigate like a fish out of water in this crazy world where it's really cold all the time and people are mostly really good. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. It's good.
Chris?
Probably like most people right now watching Ozark. We're waiting a while for this one since season 3. I guess it's been a couple of years. So happy that it's back on. About 4 episodes in right now. I've got 2 young ones at home, so it's kind of hard to find time to
Right.
binge it in traditional sense, get through it in a weekend. But so far, so good. Jason Bateman's really good in it. Really enjoyed him. And the story is just crazy, outlandish. How he's laundering money for the Mexican drug cartel, and doing this in Midwest America. It's just really crazy what he gets into, and not a comedy, but just outlandish, these scenarios.
Darkly funny. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's always amazing to me that it isn't a comedy, because Jason Bateman is actually one of my favorite actors, and he's just brilliantly funny. He's got that deadpan,
Yep.
humor, and it plays so well into this more dramatic role. Like, he's not trying to be funny, but those same skills really work in trying to be that guy that just keeps his emotions, keeps everything locked in, because
Yeah.
his whole life at this point is just don't die.
Yep.
Don't die, don't let the family die, just tunnel vision going.
Is
Yeah, I
this
mean,
the last season?
They call it season 4, part 1, so I'm guessing there's another part. I don't know if there will eventually be a season 5 or if this is really it, but I mean, we're kind of, without giving anything away from this particular season block, they are kind of beelining towards a conclusion, regardless of whether or not it works out for anybody. And I don't know, okay, so I don't know anything. I haven't finished this season, and I don't know where they're going with the next part of it, obviously. But do you think this ends in a happy way for Jason Bateman and his family? Like, do you
I mean,
think he gets out from underneath?
This might be one of those shows where the main characters don't get out, right? Or
Yeah.
something really, somebody dies, or something like that, really dramatic. You can kind of see it going that way for sure.
because it just
Yeah.
keeps escalating for them. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be entertaining television if it didn't. But I have to say that if something bad happens to Jason Bateman at the end, like if he doesn't make it out, um, it's really bleak. Like the premise of the show is that his partner was laundering money for the Mexican drug cartel, did something bad or tried to skim off the top, got caught. The drug cartel pulled them both aside, killed the partner in front of Jason Bateman, and said, "Now you work for us." He did not do anything bad to get himself in this situation. It just was completely circumstance. So
Wasn't
it's
he
going to be
doing illegal things though? Like, wasn't he
no.
involved in money
I think
laundering?
he
Like,
was somewhat
not for
involved.
them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
He
think
was
so. I don't know.
definitely, he wasn't like all the way up to doing that, but he was definitely, I mean, like, you don't just like out of nowhere know how to be a brilliant money launderer. Like, he was doing bad things. Like,
Yeah, right. Walter White had to Google it, right?
exactly. Like, Walter White at least had the skill set from like the science class and everything, you know?
Yeah, he needed his wife to help him with that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
All right, Vin, what are you binging?
I've been binging Encanto, and I know it's a movie, and that's not the kind of thing you typically binge, but this is absolutely the new Frozen. Like we threw this on one day because Disney Plus was like, hey, we got a new movie, and my daughter saw that and was like, okay, for the next month we're gonna watch this 200 or 300 times. And the rough part about it is that my wife loves it too, so like she'll put it on, and like the soundtrack and everything, even when my daughter doesn't request it. And I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? You know, like,
That's
so
terrible.
that's where I am in my life.
What's it about?
Oh
For
my
those of
gosh.
us who don't have kids, sorry. Don't you know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
plot?
yeah, no. Well, you should definitely check it out. It's not, it's definitely the kind of thing that adults can appreciate.
Okay.
Lin-Manuel Miranda did the score and
Oh,
soundtrack or whatever.
okay.
So the songs are great, but it's basically about a family living in this, I'm gonna call it like a mountain town. I don't know. And they have superpowers. And the superpowers are given to them by this candle, like this magical candle. And they use the superpowers to help the town. You know, they're a very good guy superhero family or whatever. But the candle is going out. And so with it, maybe the magic that, you know, fuels their family is going out with it. And one of the characters in the family kind of goes rogue and is like, I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on with this, whereas everybody else is like, no, everything's fine. You know, so
Wow.
definitely check it out. Try not to watch it 200 or 300 times in the course of a movie. But
Well, when you compared it to Frozen, I mean, I cry like a baby when Frozen, like certain parts of Frozen, they still get me to this day. So Encanto, I'm not a big Disney person, but yeah, every once in a while I want to watch something that's going to give me all the feels, and so it's good to
yeah,
know
I
that.
mean, it's got a little of that going on. I'm secure enough in my masculinity that I can tell you that I cried during the surface pressure song. You'll know when you get there.
Okay.
But
Okay.
But you know, like that was the first time. Now we're 200 or 300 times later. It's just like, okay, I'm over it now. Let's move on.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, you're nodding. You're familiar with Encanto?
No, but yesterday I was told we're watching it this weekend. I have a 2.5-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old boy. So you're giving
I'm
into peer pressure at this point. Everybody's talking about it. It's on. We ride the Peloton. There's a Peloton ride, so it's like, what are you missing at this point? You got to watch it. I mean, Frozen, I don't think I saw for like 6 years until
yeah.
I had kids and able to enjoy it with them. But yeah, we're gonna have to
Wow.
get on board here soon.
May
Fair
the
enough.
odds be ever in your favor.
Nice.
Chris, good luck on that. But in the meantime, let us know what you do for SobelCo.
Yeah, so I'm a partner in our accounting and auditing practice at Sobel. Work with small to mid-sized family-owned businesses on their accounting and tax needs. Specifically, right now, I'm focusing on the food and beverage sector. We've got a pretty large contingent of clients in that realm, anything from manufacturers, distributors to supermarkets and retail. So we're really making a concerted push to grow that end of the practice, talking to a lot of good people across, between banks and attorneys and just centers of influence in that world, just to get a better understanding of what companies out there, what their struggles are, what their issues are, so we can try and find ways to help them. So anything from accounting, audited financial statements, cash projections, forecasting, really just a whole slew of advisory services that we offer, trying to help those types of clients.
Interesting. That's such an interesting niche. I've never met a CPA or an accounting firm that like was so focused on that particular niche. How did that come to be? Did you specialize in that in school, or how did that happen?
No, it's funny. I kind of come full circle from school, or not from high school, college, where I actually worked at a supermarket, and got into accounting, got my degree in accounting, and then the first firm I went out of the first firm I worked for. I left there and found Sobel, and there was a need at that point for a manager in our supermarket practice. We have a large contingent of supermarkets, and it kind of fell into it that way. So I was working on the same types of clients that I had worked in, through high school and college. So it was kind of interesting to transition and get that side of things. And then from there, we've continued to grow in that area, but also just seeing the need for all of our other food and beverage related clients in our firm for more specialized services, shared knowledge across those clients. So we're making a push there. And there are other accounting firms out there that do have that specialty. So we're looking to see what kind of resources are out there and grow from looking at others, but also with our own ideas and different things that we can offer at the firm.
Fascinating.
What's the world of supermarkets been like in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. I mean, you read about it in the news. It's all over the place. It was interesting because when I came into it, the trend for the past 10, 20, 30 years was pretty steady growth. 2 to 3%. Kind of in line with the CPI, that sort of thing. And then you start hearing about all these different things going on with technology and new entrants to the market. You've got international companies coming in like Aldi and Lidl, then Walmart and Target, the big box stores getting more into grocery. So getting hit with a lot from a lot of different directions at once. And then COVID hits, and you're hearing, oh, supermarkets doing great. Everybody's going crazy at the supermarkets trying to buy everything up.
Yeah.
But then you're hearing supply shortage and labor shortage, minimum wage increases. So while in the news it may have seemed like supermarkets were doing really well with the amount of activity that was going on, all these other pressures pushing the other way really made it difficult for them, and that continues into 2021 and 2022.
Any relief on the horizon that you can see?
Honestly, not really. I think a lot of those same issues continue to be issues. Amazon coming into things doesn't help, when they're putting up stores all over the place, and the technology that they have and they're starting to offer. So you are seeing a lot of, we'll say local supermarkets, larger chains, we'll say, trying to latch onto that and try to do their own thing and come out with this, cashierless technology and things like that, where you kind of just walk into the store, get your product, and walk out without going through a checkout. But it's making it difficult because Amazon has boatloads of money to be able to invest in that technology, while your local chains may not have that. So there's definitely still a lot of different pressures. Labor is a huge one that continues to be an issue for sure.
I gotta say, the cashierless technology, I love it in theory. You know what I mean? But every single time I try to use it, I don't put the item in the bag quickly enough, and the machine gets mad at me, and I always end up having to try to find somebody to help me anyway. Like, at this point, I would just much rather wait in whatever line that needs to be waited in, so that I can talk to a person, so that they can help me get the things I need to get. I'm not a fan of the cashierless technology. Just saying.
I pretty much only do that. Unless I'm holding like an orange in my hand and I'm like, all right, I don't know what the hell to do with this.
It's
I still remember some of the codes from when I worked at the supermarket. So what that is, like, it just 4011 goes right out.
No, but I remember seeing, and I don't know if this is still the direction they're going in, but a few years ago, Amazon was talking about creating supermarkets where you literally just walk out of the store. Like there is no checkout. Like there's something that's scanning everything I'm holding as I'm walking out, and it's like, all right, we'll just charge your account like as you're walking out the door, you know.
That technology exists at the airport.
Does it really?
Yeah, so the last couple times I went to the airport, you know how they've got these like
I thought, first of all, I thought you were going to be like, that technology is everywhere, Vinny. Get out of the backwoods. You know, like,
not yet, no.
Okay.
But like you swipe your credit card in order to get in, like there's a little thing, and then something is watching, and you grab a bottle of water, you grab a sandwich, you grab yogurt, whatever. There is no checkout. You leave with it without talking to anyone, and it just charges your card for whatever those items cost.
Yeah.
It's fascinating and a little scary, but also kind of amazing.
The future is here.
Yeah.
and that's the technology where it's going. I think with Amazon, you're seeing some of the more local, supermarket chains starting to invest in it. So I think it's here to stay. How quickly, it's able to be implemented is another thing, and how people latch onto it. But if they don't give you a choice because they don't have enough people working the store, to be able to check you out and help you and that sort of thing, technology is going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
I'll volunteer to test it out because I feel like I'm the one that would break it. I'd be in the store and I'd pull 5 things off the shelf, and then I'd walk down the aisle, come back and be like, did I really need 5? Here, let me put 2 back. And then you'd be walking around the store and then you'd be like, do I really need this? No, I'll put that back. And then, you forget where you found something, and I'm just going to put that out there. Like maybe you just put it back wherever, so.
Well, I do the opposite. I do like supermarket sweep and see how many things I can grab out there. If they get it all.
In theory, I'd like to say I'm quick, but then, you regret things and you're like, no. I didn't need 5 things of this,
Right.
So true. Yeah. Regret, like buyer's remorse before you even get to the checkout.
Before you even check out. Yeah. I can just see the computer trying to keep up with me. All right, so he put that back, and then he took 2. Did he take 3?
Right.
Did he take 4?
Right.
It looked like, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm going to get banned. It's okay.
Right, like at the airport when you've only got 2 things that you're leaving with, or 3, that's very different from a cart full of your weekly grocery shop, right?
Yeah. All right, so all that tangent aside, what are some of the big issues, your clients are facing these days?
I alluded a little bit to it before. The labor issue is a significant concern. I mean, we're seeing it in our industry, in the accounting world. People are able to jump ship and go to other firms, larger firms, pretty easily. They're able to pay more money, to take some of our good people away, which is unfortunate. But with a lot of the businesses we work with, like I said, I work with a lot of distributors, retail. They're among the hardest hit right now as far as this, this labor issue that we're hearing about. Not sure where everybody's going. Still haven't figured that out. We knew about unemployment and the extra dollars that were coming through up until September of last year, but it hasn't seemed to been a relief on that. I know there's lots of people that just retired early and that sort of thing, just because they didn't want to deal with what was going on in the world, or they could afford to do it a little early. But where are all the the laborers, your 20-somethings, 30-somethings that were there before? It's been difficult. So definitely one of the things that we talk to our clients a lot about right now.
Yeah, I think people who retired are definitely one third of the group, and I keep hearing too about a huge chunk of women who left the workforce because their kids had to be homeschooled suddenly. And they realized that they could survive on the paycheck of their partner because daycare suddenly, how expensive daycare is. So you put the kid in school, and then you've got aftercare. A lot of women have not come back to the workforce yet, and I think that is contributing for better or worse. I think for sure. Yeah.
And kind of the opposite. You think this would be helpful, but we were talking about this yesterday. We're hearing that people are working from home a lot more. Obviously now they're taking on second jobs without their other employer knowing, and then mostly I think this is more like college age kids, younger generation that has some flexibility and things like that, or working on like a contract basis where they just have to do one thing a day, and well I can do that one thing in an hour, so I'm going to go get another job where I could, do something else. So we're starting to hear more of that. It's like we're thinking about it. It's like, well, do we have people that might be doing that sort of thing? But yeah, in our world, I think it's a little bit more difficult. But I think it's definitely a concern for employers. The efficiencies and that sort of thing that we're losing right now with people working at home. You hear a lot about that as well. What are people actually doing? When they're at home, are they actually working for us?
Yeah.
You would think that would help the hiring
Right,
crisis, or whatever you want to call it, because now I've got one person looking for two jobs rather than two people looking for one. But
right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy world we're living in.
That would never occur to me side hustles happen, right? Something you do on nights and weekends, but like to have a job that you would be expected to do between the hours of 9 and 5 or 8 and 4, and then accept another job that would have those same expectations. That is, that would never occur to me. It's amazing that.
I was amazed by it when we were talking about it yesterday. Just crazy.
Unbelievable. All right, so I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to do something new. And we're back, and today, my friends, is the beginning of a new era. Instead of playing a game, which is what we used to do, we're going to ask a second get-to-know-you question. And today, that question is, if you had to pick just one extracurricular or hobby for the rest of your life, what would it be? This is kind of a hard one, but I'll go first if you guys need more time to think.
I can throw it out there. I'm a big film guy. When you say extracurricular, that implies school. We didn't really have like film club in school, but if I could just be in a group of people talking about movies like once a week, once a night, whatever it is, like however often it meets forever, I'd do that. I should probably look into that. I'm sure those kinds of things exist. So.
There's something for everybody on Facebook with that stuff, for sure.
Yeah. I didn't mean school, but you're right. I guess extracurricular does imply school. What you just described totally makes me want to change mine, but that's okay. Chris, you want to go next?
Sure. If I had to pick more of a hobby, I guess I go to a lot of concerts. I love music. Go to as many concerts as I can. The last 2 years have been rough, obviously, with COVID. Could be getting in there somewhere.
Yeah, had to do it. Sorry.
Had to happen.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, no, not a Coldplay fan. But yeah, I mean, concerts and the stuff that kind of goes around that. A lot of people I know I've met through concerts, so I've built some great friendships. And I'm an avid concert poster collector, so I've got a pretty good collection going. So I'll kind of put those in together, my poster collecting and going to concerts.
What was the most amazing concert you've been to?
Last year, Foo Fighters at Madison Square Garden. First concert at the Garden since COVID started. First Foo Fighters concert that I've been to. I've been a fan since '95 when they came out with their first album. My 6-year-old is a huge Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters fan. Somehow kind of brought me back into it. He started listening to them with, just through YouTube. So brought him. It was just an amazing overall experience.
It's kind of funny, like a 6-year-old coming to you and being like, "Have you heard of this band? They're amazing."
Yeah, right.
I love it. That's very cool. All right, so mine was going to be horseback riding because I haven't done it since I was 12, 13 years old. But it was like athletic, but I wasn't the one doing the running, which is really nice. Also, it can be very social, or it can be kind of a thing that you could do solo. So if I had to pick one thing, but I mean, that's what I thought of. And then you said your thing, Vinny, and now I'm like, oh, that would be fun. Like, or a book group, like just read great books forever and talk to smart people about books. That would be really fun. I think I should just go back to college or something, maybe.
I love the idea of a book club. We had a book club at NJBIA prior to the pandemic hitting. But the problem with the book club is that like a book takes so long to get through,
Yes.
So you can only do it like once. I think we only met like once a month, right?
I thought it was every 6 weeks, but you might be right.
So ideally, like once a month, and then in reality, a lot longer. Whereas like a movie, I mean, you can make an expectation that somebody will carve out 2 hours in a week to check out a film,
Good call.
I was thinking along the lines of like a Netflix kind of a thing too, like Netflix Club, but that's the same problem, you know, to tell everybody you got to carve out the 8-9 hours, you know, maybe, I don't know if it would work.
Yeah, we do a book club at Sobel, and what we do sometimes, like especially during our busy season, is do like podcasts. You know, listen to this podcast, or a lot of it around like leadership and things like that, some soft skills. So it's really kind of easy to find stuff like that, TED Talks. So that seems to go over pretty well.
That's really good. I like it.
Definitely recommend other people's business for the next podcast club kind of thing, you know.
That may be on the list. It sounds familiar.
All right. Is there anything coming up you want to promote?
Yeah, I mean, we send out a lot of different things from Sobel, you know, tax updates with what's going on in tax legislation. We're doing a lot on the food and beverage side, as I mentioned. So sign up for our newsletters. We try to be really timely with that stuff. We're doing some video series as well. We've got a news in a minute series, you know, when there's breaking type of news that comes out, business related, tax related. And then we've got our Sobel Insight series on YouTube as well, which is really good as well. About 15-minute videos, nice and short, so people can get what they need, get some good information, and get on with their day.
How does somebody sign up for the newsletter if they want to?
Yeah.
Through our website, or you could just contact me directly. I don't know if you guys email address you can give out, or
hey,
yeah.
you know, however you want to like tell people to connect with you.
Sure.
I mean, go ahead. We had somebody who stopped the show cold one time. She was like, "Can I share my phone number on this?" You can share however you want.
Yeah, no, my email is Chris, CHRIS.Martin, MARTIN, at SobelCoLLC.com. Just reach out to me that way, and I'll get it to the right place.
Perfect.
Very cool.
All right. I think that's the show. Thank you to our listeners, especially our subscribers. We really appreciate the support. Thank you to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, the official sponsor of the show. They do home, auto, and workers' comp, so check them out if you need some updated coverage. And finally, thank you to Chris Martin of SobelCo for joining us today. It was such a treat.
This was great. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.